Man, y'all know the face, y'all know the name. Y'all tuned into the world's greatest podcast. No, I'm not saying it because we've already done 30 episodes. No, I'm not saying it because my guests are all lit. No, I am not saying this because we got Fixation coming up soon. I don't even want to say that because I might drop this after Fixation, knowing how my schedule is. But you're tuned into the world's greatest podcast, Talk Ain't Cheap podcast, hosted by yours truly, Mr. It's a Movie. Mr. Talk to Me Nice, don't talk to me at all. If you know the vibes, you know the vibes, man. Cletus Real Talk. And I got a special guest here. Y'all know I don't like introducing people. I feel like it goes against my mojo. You know, I feel like I shortchange people. Like, my introduction is so dope because it's been practiced. You know, it's like you know, iron sharper than iron. I can't just all of a sudden like, hey, there's this other guy, you know, and he's lit too. Make it up for like it don't feel the same, you know. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andre Jackson. I'm a Buffalo State graduate, economics and finance, Jamaican nation born. Been in the country 15 years.
Oh, yes, go on fire.
Yeah, so I'm out here today, humbled to be in the great presence of amazing people. You know, always thankful, high quality life and high quality frequency of thought.
That's beautiful. So what would you like to call this episode?
We'd like to call this episode. That's a very good question. Maybe we gotta have the lady who's with us chime in and title this episode.
I mean, tell her pull up.
Yes. Queen, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
You gotta come over, sis.
Lovely Nigerian lady here.
Okay. Hi. My name is Esther.
Okay.
I'm also a Buffalo graduate. I am Nigerian. Been in the States for about 15 years as well.
So you were born in Nigeria?
Born in Nigeria. Born and raised. Lived in Nigeria for about 8 years.
That's dope.
Yep. Moved to the States back in 2003. When I was like about 9. So.
What's the difference between being raised in like Nigeria and the education system and some of the cultural norms versus being raised as a black woman in America?
I would say being raised, you know, the 8 years I was raised in Nigeria, education system is far out advanced, I would say, because when I moved here, a lot of the things that I already learned in Nigeria, I kind of had to repeat it again here. So, yeah. So I would say it's definitely different. Being just the cultural norms are different. As a Nigerian yourself, you would.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I mean, I kind of understand where you're coming from, but for those who don't know, what do you feel like are some of the different cultural norms, whereas being a Nigerian woman versus being a black woman in America?
So I guess my situation is a little bit different, I would say. So being raised in Nigeria, it's very strict. Very, very strict in terms of the education. Like, you have to be focused in school. I mean, it's still the same, similar, moving over here, living with my family as well. Education is definitely important, and I would say that my situation is a little bit different in the sense that my family here kind of pushes me to the limit. You know what I mean? So
There's no room for error here.
there's no room for error, exactly. No room for error. You have to work really hard and make your mark. Definitely have to make your mark. And that's what my parents push on me.
Whereas with here, it's kind of like, you know, find yourself. Like, for example, like when I was a kid, I used to hate when my parents were like, yo, you have to be a doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Or I used to hate,
Lawyer,
doctor,
engineer. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Like, I'm looking at myself like, yo, I might go get a PhD in communication. I'm going to be a doctor, but in my own, you know, spin of things, you know. Or like they used to compare me to the other family member or the next person my age about all the good things that they were doing.
Yeah.
But they never really understood all the bad shit they were doing behind closed doors that I know because we're horizontal or parallel in the spaces that we're in. And that shit used to get me tight because it's like, okay, why are we as a people so focused on negatives and not positives. For example, like the positives are only to answer a negative about me, never about like, okay, you are a great reader, he is a great reader, but I want you to also become a better reader in this way, rather than this guy's a great reader. You yourself, you can't even come and read one. You can't even come and read how to spell your name. If your hand was not touching your arms, you would not even know how to wipe your common ass. You don't read. You're not smart, and it's like, but why is that the standard of what it means to be great? It's like I have to be better than you, not because of the skill sets I have. It's just because someone else is good, and if I am not better than you, I'm less than you. When in reality, it's like the whole concept of, yo, all right, if I was a shark and I could swim, but the other person is like a bird and he could fly, who's really a genius and who's really not? This depends on the environment.
Right, you just gotta find yourself and find what you're good at.
And someone has to be able to recognize what you're good at, as well as cultivate it and put it in spaces for it to shine. Like, to be a Nigerian, the only place that they've always kind of given you one playing field and one playing field only. That's all it is. There is no multiple playing fields. If you're going to be a genius in different things, it's kind of like something that you still have to follow a certain European structure of getting a certain kind of educational system, a certain kind of indoctrination. You got to be able to be black and be able to speak with those who look like you, because you're going to resonate with them as well as they're going to resonate with you, because of the cultural things or the nuances of what it means to be black worldwide is all very similar. Now, the culture is different, whereas their standard of success is white people. You gotta think about, like we got our independence in 1960, so that's not a long time. Like 60 years, your family, your mom or your dad or your grandfather at the time was still enslaved by British European rule, and then recently got freedom, and then saw like what it means to build a city or a country from nothing to something. And then you're not realizing, like, yo, you got to define what your culture is. Like, I have this conversation with a lot of people all the time, is what does it mean to be black in America? What is black culture? And they're like, yo, there's certain things that are black. I'm like, well, is that really a black culture? Is that what you're going to determine? You can't say it, because there's no one that has undeniably stated that this is what it means to be black. This is what it means to have a black culture. This is something that is uniquely ours, and we own it, and we own the trademarks of it. We own the licensing of it. We own the playing field. We are the gatekeepers. Like, bro, even hip-hop music is not black owned. A lot of black-owned businesses aren't really black-owned, because it's kind of like, you could be a black-owned entity, you meaning you have a black face attached to your entity. It's a black person that made the decision to create an entity, but like your distributors won't be black, or the people who work for you won't be black. And that also comes down to like our own community. Like, a lot of us as a people, we're not comfortable seeing somebody who's also black be affiliated with people, or be affiliated with a certain amount of wealth that people who are usually not black have. And because of that, we assume that because I have more financially, that means that you are less than. When the reality is like, yo, I can have more, but my problems are more. So does it mean that you're less than, or does it mean that I just have to deal with more shit? So that when you're mad about your 25 cents that you don't have, I'm not concerned with that. I'm not going to entertain that, because your 25 cents that you don't have might be big to you, but if I don't pay all these bills, all these establishments that we're creating isn't going to be there. Or because let's say that I cut corners, now it's the black owned this, did this negative action, and now that's the representation of what it means to be a black person on a main scale. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I understand completely, because like I said, I'm a Nigerian born man. I've lived in New York for 99% of my life. Like, call it what it is. Like, I'm a black man in America, but I have a Nigerian culture ties. I understand where my legacy has started from. So, generationally, there's things that I cannot do, or there's bondages that I have to break, or there's certain amount of things that I understand what my standard starts. Whereas in America, the standard has always been very low. So, for us, we understand who we were imperialism and like being conquered by the British. We understand who we were. We understand who our people were, etc., etc. We kind of established these bylaws and customs of what it means to be a Nigerian from 1960 moving forward. So for us, we got, and even if you go past 1960, there's like a very, very, very deep rooted understanding of what it means to be a Nigerian, and what some of your customs are. Even within family, like your family lineage will tell you. They'll tell you like, oh, your great great grandmother's this. Oh, this is your auntie. This is your cousin. Whereas here, the standard of what it means to be black starts at slavery and slavery only.
It's true.
So how do you build people from that? If all they've ever known was that I was once a slave, my great-great-grandfather was a slave, and slavery basically is a reprogramming of black people into white oppressors' insecurities. So when you look at a black person, like it wasn't natural for a black man to romanticize a black, like sexualize a black woman. That was never natural, because you got to think about it. Like in certain places of Africa, women walk around naked, and there's a lot of women, but a man is married to one woman, or he might have multiple wives because he can actually handle multiple women and love them enough that's like that one man is 8 men, because he is powerful enough to love these women at 100% 8 different times in 8 different ways, that they'd rather take his 1/8 over another man's 100%. Whereas now it's all about, oh, she got this, she got that. That's not us. That we know. Why would you fetishize something you're used to? It's like I got a BMW, but I'm like, yo, oh my God, I love only BMWs. I need another BMW with this kind of leather seat. Oh my God, you see that BMW? What if y'all like, yo, I have that. Why am I overly impressed by what I've already had? You know, so I always look at that as something that's like really, like black people, a lot of the cultural issues that we deal with as a people, it starts from the insecurities that are generationally instilled in us from another source that wasn't from us. And we don't know our legacy enough to understand that these things are not natural, because all we know is what we've seen and what we've established and understood over these past couple generations. We don't know past American slavery. We don't know past the education or the indoctrination that the oppressor has given us. We only know what they've told us.
It's true.
So why are we here today? What are we here to talk about? Because I know time is money, but a lot of people don't understand that concept, right? So how do we create this generational wealth? How do we put value on our time? How do we understand how we could be able to deconstruct some of the constructs that's placed in front of us?
So, you definitely hit some key points on that. And how do we get there? Well, first we have to start putting value on ourselves. And by putting values on ourselves, I don't mean put on the best pair of Jordans and then I'm worth more. Putting value on your mind. You know, it's a position where you think of simple formulas. I'm only going to share one concept with you guys tonight. The wealth formula, creating generational wealth. Well, your wealth formula is your money plus your time, plus and minus rate of return, minus your inflation, minus taxes, equals wealth.
So break that down for people who might be slow.
Okay, break that down. One thing on that wealth formula you cannot get back is time. So I want you to think about the X curve, like the X for Wakanda. Right? The X curve is a very simple theory. Basically says as time goes by, we become more secured. Why? Because traditionally when we're younger, right, we're less secured, we're burdened with responsibilities. Many of us are in positions where we're of the sandwich generation. We're having to take care of our older families, so our growing parents, and also our own family. So we're sandwiched right in between, just like that tuna sandwich we had here.
Shout out to the tuna sandwich that's going to be sold at Peace International Market on 3240 Richard Terrace. If you know the vibes, you know the vibes, man.
Right on. So you talk about that sandwich generation, you say, hey, hold on. Well, if I'm the tuna in between and I'm covered by both layers, well, I can't save no money.
You smothered.
Spending. You know, I gotta be able to pay for my mom's medical bills, or I gotta be able to take care of my own kids if I have kids, or maybe I'm able to take care of my own self, my own light bills. You know, certain things are there. So we said when we're younger, we're less secured because of the fact that our responsibilities are high. We may have a credit card that's high, a student loan. That's a major burden. I'm not gonna get deep into it, but that's a major responsibility. You know, car note. It's another major responsibility. If we're fortunate enough to be young and have a mortgage, for example, all right, that's a responsibility, but that's a good responsibility. And once you get to that point and you do have all those responsibilities. So let's say you're age 20 or even 18. Not sure the audience age right now. But think of it. From the age 18, you got to be at a certain point where you're going to work, right? Or you're going to school because you got some responsibility to education. So when your responsibilities are high, you're less secured. As time goes by and you age towards your retirement or you get older, you become more secured. Why? Because your responsibilities have now decreased. You've paid off that student loans. Congratulations to all of those who have done that. That's an amazing feat.
Oh.
So once you reach that point and your responsibilities have decreased, and now you're able to save more money, but what you lost over the course? Time. So dial back to that wealth formula and say, hey, hold on. Well, I need to start saving first. You know, we're really passive when it comes to saving.
That's real. Cause I always say you either gonna spend money or you gonna spend time. Which one matters most to you, right? And you're like I said, we're all university graduates, right? Would you say that college was a waste of time?
Depends. A little bit of yes and a little bit of no. I would start off with my no because I paid for my network. I'm still paying for my network. I see college as a gateway and opportunity. Go if you know that what you want to go for. But if you don't know, wait, practice that delayed gratification. Maybe you need some life experiences before you take that deep dive into college.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because most of us are forced into that. We go from parents to say, oh, you got to go to school, but you don't know what you're going to study for. You don't know what you want to do. What's your life purpose?
Mm-hmm.
But 2 years into school, you're burdened down with the debt and you still don't know what you need to do. Now you either drop out or you just got to go for it so you graduate with something that you major in and you don't feel passionate about it. How many of our listeners can connect to that?
No, that's
So
real.
was school a waste of a time? No, not for myself. Many people are out there saying, hey, school was a waste of time. Because of the fact that they could have been doing something else. They didn't know what they want to do. So I say, school's not a waste of time. Just make sure you know what you're going for and you believe in it. And you also can financially benefit from it. Because if you can't, then why are you going? You might as well go get a job and then go. Many companies that are out there are offering situations where you go to work, tuition reimbursement. Start thinking on a different opportunity standpoint. Paying your way while you're out there. I say school, well, it's an amazing opportunity to provide a network. I love acts of service, man, because of the fact that I say, hey, you know what? I went to a college where I have over 3,000 people that I know or I'm connected to. And if all those 3,000 people know at least 2 people, now what's the numbers? And maybe I have a service, and I'm a business owner, that I can provide to all these people. You got to start thinking on an opportunity standpoint. It's an awesome opportunity. It's not a waste of time. On the other side, only think of it as a waste of time if you're going and you don't know what you're going for. You're just going to school to say, oh, yeah, I'm in school.
That's a gem. That's a gem. Bullet. So, but I agree with that completely because I feel like that's something that, and I think also is very interesting that we can have this conversation, being that we're all immigrants, and we have to deal with the cultural norms of what we have been like established within, whereas the treatment of what it means to be black in America, like you gotta think about to be treated black in America doesn't make sense to a lot of us because it's like, yo, if I was a Nigerian, you would never be able to talk to me like this. If you was in Jamaica, bullet. So I agree completely. I understand completely. I think what this, like I said, it goes back to what we said, is that the idea of legacy and lineage, or where we start from and where we are now. We've already established, like, bro, from a young age, I understand what delayed instant gratification is, bro. I never believed in Santa Claus. Like, I've been with I go with my parents to go Christmas shopping. They say, what you want? All right, you go get it, but you can't touch it till Christmas.
Spoiler for some of you listeners out there.
Yeah, Santa Claus does not exist. He's a figment of your imagination to get you out to buy stuff. It's a commodification act. It's really just that. just something to romanticize, something, you know, another thing that they want you to buy into. Like America, and that's what I was trying to tell you earlier. I'm like, a lot of people don't look at America for what it really is. Like I always say it all the time, the number one religion in America is capitalism.
Yep, indeed. It's a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest and the best corporation. It's a land of opportunity. But you have to really look at opportunity. Why is it that I came here? Better opportunity. I lived in England for 2 years, but I sought better opportunity. So when you say, hey, you know what? There's people who are out there and in the country illegally. I've been in the country illegally before. But why? Because the opportunity. So when you're coming from a place with less opportunity and you get to a land of more opportunity, you're able to then think on that standpoint.
So what's the opportunity? What is this opportunity that America has that like other countries don't have? Because to be quite frank, if you talk about the idea of freedom, you're way more free in a lot of spaces in terms of business than you are in America. The only thing I would say you have more freedom is the thought and the gumption to say like, yo, fuck the president. That's not my nigga. I didn't vote for him. Like, that's the only freedom you have. Like, the freedom to be able to be distracted and for you to be able to distract yourself.
Right, exactly that. Those last words that you just said. Why? Because we delve back to America being a corporation. Well, it's a buy and sell. What are we buying and selling? It's time. What's the difference between the wealthy man and the poor man?
The have and have-nots.
Have and have-nots. But you say what they both have in common. 24 hours in a day. 24 hours in a day. What do you do with your time? Are you sitting at home binge watching Netflix? Or are you on YouTube looking up opportunities, learning, feeding your mind rather than feeding your gut? Have you practiced that? Go hungry. Go reach your point of starvation and read. Feed your mind more than you feed your actual stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, oh my God, you can learn so much.
That's real.
So you say, what are you really doing? We all have only 24 hours in a day. What are you doing with your days? Okay, well, maybe you go to a job 40 hours a week and you're working for somebody else's dream. What about your dreams? When you get out of that job, make sure you go work for your dreams. What are your dreams? Are you surrounded by people who are talking to you about your dreams, supporting your dreams? And does your dreams align to that point to get you to where you want to be? And people may have dreams. I always said, if you're going to be a dope dealer, make sure you do it to a proper standpoint. What are you doing? If you're going to be the biggest musician, make sure you do it to a standpoint. Are you uplifting the people or are you just trying to get rich?
See, and that goes to defining what is your standard. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't have one. Their standard of success isn't really success driven. Like why they do it is not because they want to be successful, it's because of somebody else's trauma or their experience reflected on them. Like I always say, like with generational wealth comes breaking up generational traumas and curses, just with different playing fields. Like there's probably a reason why you are the way you are that you can't explain, and this really comes from your great grandfather and the sin that he created for himself. Now that you have to now take it on and defeat that trauma or break that generational curse, now using a completely different playing field. It's like imagine using your parents' old rules of how to play basketball with LeBron James and all these athletes that are like 25 Michael Jordans, or you trying to be the guy in your school wearing your father's clothes. It's like, how do I take this and make it fly for now? Or how do I take this and make it in a way that people would respect me for doing this rather than judge me for it? Because like social media is a platform that is really a taboo. There's no such thing as a moral code on social media. There's no such thing as discipline or respect or decency on social media. That doesn't exist. So you have people that's telling you in real life to be a certain type of way, where in reality there's people making millions of dollars in this social space for moments, saying you like undermining everything you've been taught as what is right and righteous and respectable. Shit different. So how do we build generational wealth? How do we break these generational traumas down? How do we become the people that we need to become? not just for ourselves, but for our community, for the people that really need us? How do we take our people from where they were to where they need to be?
Well, I think we need to gather the people and start sharing the information that we
Mhm.
have. I know we have a powerful platform at this point in time. We brewing up the pot. I said it, I'm only going to share one concept, and I've only shared one so far. So for those of the listeners that are out there, you can locate me. I'm on Instagram. It's at the Sharp Youth. Matter of fact, you can take my phone number. It's 716-507-9486. Send me a text message. Find out what is it that we're cooking up with. Stay tuned. I am Cletus. It's definitely I am Cletus the man.
Oh man, I can't even do that no more. I'm the Cletus group
You're
now.
the Cletus group.
Yeah,
so
I'm
you're taking it
Cletus.
to the standpoint.
You have to.
You say, hey, you know what?
Can't just do it myself.
There
Can't do it
you
myself.
go.
Can't do it myself.
That's what we want to hear. Repeat that one more time.
I cannot do it by myself.
So when we say, how do we break generational curse? You cannot do it by yourself. You can help yourself first, but then you have to help your family. Once you've helped your family, you help your community. Then you help your nation, breaking a generational curse. Because why? We may grow up in a household to say, hey, you know what? Mom and dad struggled, or they got a little something in there, or it's just a single parent household. It's just mom. You know what? Mom telling me pay this bill. I don't want to pay her bill. I don't want to listen to her rules and her guidance. So I'm going to go out there and do it by my own self. So now what? Remember our X curve. Now I'm going to be struggling with my own rent and responsibilities and my bills because I want to do it on my own. But you say, hey, you know what? Maybe you make it to a certain point. Or maybe you stay in that household and you save up to that point. You help your family. So then you can move out and go into the community.
That's real.
And you take on nation. How do you build a community? How do you build a city? A city wasn't a city. It didn't just start off into a city. It started off as a what? Small, 2 huts, 3 huts. Then you go into a village. Then you go into a town. Then you go into a city. Then you go into a nation. You know, that's how it goes. So you think about it from a micro standpoint. You say, hey, you have to start looking on the inside. Because if you don't change your inside thoughts from, I'm going to do it on my own. Yo, shout out to Sean Mapp. I talk about it all the time.
Shout out to Sean.
This gentleman said to me one day at the gym, yo, you can't do it on your own. You can definitely do it. You find a team, and you surround yourself with the right people. Because it's that. You find it's people. That's how you do it. It's people. Why? Because every single thing that you do, even if you say you got a job, what is it that your job in details? You're dealing with people all day, aren't you?
Oh, hell yeah.
So you're not doing it by yourself. You're dealing with your people all day. Interaction, no matter what you're doing. If you're in the Amazon factory and you're packing up boxes and whatnot, what are you doing? You're providing an act of service to those people. Why? Because you're putting the right box on the right pallet so it does get to a right destination in time. So somebody is happy for their Christmas.
That's real.
Or Hanukkah or their holiday. But if you're doing a horrible job and you hate the job and you put it in the wrong place, you're deviating from that.
Mhm.
Or maybe you're in collections and handling student loans and you're that jerk of a collector. You don't care about people. Or maybe you do care about people and somebody just needed to hear your voice at that point in time because they're burdened down by their student loan debt.
That's real.
Many people default on their student loans. Every 20 seconds, a person defaults. Every 20 seconds, a person in the United States, and this is actual fact, you look it up. Every 20 seconds, a person defaults on their student loans. As if it's okay. But then, Uncle Sam gets a slap in the face, right? Or they slap them right in the face when their tax refund comes around because all they look for is that living off the government. Or they say, hey, you know what? I'm going to ignore it until I'm 65. I'm retired. I'm getting my Social Security. But now you're getting 15% of your Social Security taken because of your student loans. So you think it's okay to let your debt handle you. No. Control your own future. If you don't control your debt's gonna control you. If you don't control your life, well, you'll be surprised as towards what will happen. You'll find that you'll be dragged into some deep, dark places and you just don't know what is going on.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know? I'm not going to go off into much details, but you say some people that do listen to Oprah Winfrey. When I hear Oprah Winfrey, I just think of the one statement. She said at her age, she had to start identifying and learning how to say no.
Yeah.
Just say that. No. Next opportunity. I'm going to repeat that. No. Next opportunity. Why? Because it's not every opportunity that you should jump on. As simple as that.
How do you distinguish wealth? How do you determine wealth? How do you judge and define wealth? Because you're saying that we're in a business with people, right? We're saying that our priority should be people. But you're also saying that every opportunity is an opportunity you can take. What if it gives you the opportunity to impact the masses?
Then you take it. You sit back, you alleviate, and you take it. You jump. There's never a right moment to jump. You just gotta jump. I mean, you sit there and you say, all right, are you gonna be in a reaction or are you being proactive? You really evaluate certain things. If it aligns with your morals, your dreams, your goals, and you say, I feel like I can do this and I feel like I'm already doing this, but now I'm provided with opportunity to help people on a larger scale, then yeah, you go for it. You say, how do you identify my wealth? Well, it's not by how much money I have. As Bob Marley said, well, I'm not the richest man, wealthiest man. Wealth is measured by the amount of people. So when I sit there and I look at you, I'm like, yo, you're a wealthy man. Why? Because the people, how many people dial in and listen, the impact that you have, the voice, the words that you're saying to your people. That's how you really measure your wealth.
That's real.
If you sit back and say, yo, I ain't got no money in my bank account, in my
pocket. Niggas is broke, baby.
All right? And I say, yo, I'm overcoming a negative cash flow right now. I don't need no cash flow. Why? Because if I know the person that owns the airlines, I'm getting on the plane for free.
Talk about it.
Okay. If I know the person that is throwing a party or I'm that close with that person, and then the possibility I'm getting it for free. Or maybe I provide a service. Put it that standpoint.
You support. Why would I not look out for you?
Exactly. So you say, hey, what are you bringing to the table? You know, if you don't have cash, what is it that you're bringing to the table? Is it a service that you can provide?
That's real. I think that's what we're going to call this episode. What are you bringing to the table?
What are you bringing to the table, man?
The Last Supper series, man. That's crazy. So Wealth Wave. What is that? What's going on with that? What is that about?
So Wealth Wave right now, not sure many of you listeners are familiar with. There's a huge wealth wave that is happening. Ever heard about FIRE?
FIRE?
Financial independence, retire early. When you think of retirement, you don't think of an exact age. Traditionally, you would think of an exact age. Why? Because traditional industry says you're supposed to, what? Go to school and work a job from 25 to 65 for 40 years and then retire? Well, the traditional pillars of retirement are falling apart. Traditional pillars of retirement is very simple. It's a three-legged stool, right? You go to job, you work for a company, they offer you pensions. How many companies are offering pensions out there? Not many. Some are doing 401ks, so again, you have to put your own money into it. Well, lack of poor saving habits. And people are spending more than they have. So again, that's two legs that's gone. Social Security. Oh, if you're a millennial on here and you're talking about Social Security, you might as well look the other way. You just might as well look the other way.
They're not talking about you, King. It's not for you, sweetheart.
Say, hey, you know what? You gotta find opportunities. But why is it that our generation, the millennials, we have an awesome opportunity? I see you touching that cell phone right there, and that's the awesome opportunity I'm talking about. The technology that is out there is providing us this opportunity to become financially independent. You know, we may not be affected too much by the crash of '08 and '09 or in 2000. However, the Generation X, so for our other generation that's listening on the call, they know what I'm talking about. Or the baby boomers who are gearing up to retire. And the S&P 500, U.S. Standards and Poor 500, right? Top 500 companies in the United States. When the market tanked, a lot of people who were gearing up for retirement had to gear up for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know what that is?
What, poverty?
Pretty much. Or working an extra 10 years. Now they don't retire at 65. Now they got to work until they're 75. They got to put in another couple of years because of the uncertainty. So if you know that uncertainty is on the horizon, would you not want to be secured?
Of course.
So then you got to have those talks. Got to start having these conversations at the table. I challenge everybody who's listening on this tonight. Pick up the phone. Call somebody. Call me up. Say, yo, I want to learn more. Get connected with Cletus. Oh, jump on my website. If you're like, yo, you're not sure how money works, it's howmoneyworks.com/Andre Jackson. And that's AndreJackson. howmoneyworks.com/Andre Jackson. Take that test.
So, it's a test.
Oh, it's a small quiz.
How many questions?
5 questions.
I actually do 5 questions.
5 questions. Well, the rule is 72. Do you know how money works?
You said it to one of my young boys. Shout out to Femi. Isn't it that the ratio between wealth and you is multiplied by like 72?
So rule is 72. Albert Einstein, we love this man.
Why?
Because of the fact he's the greatest mathematician ever.
Okay, fair enough.
Or as they would say, I wouldn't say the greatest ever, but one of the greatest
He's the most
mathematicians.
polarized.
Right.
Let's call it polarized. He's
Exactly.
the most polarized.
So if you say, all right, well, it's 72 divided by your rate of return. Tells you how long it takes for your money to grow. All right? And you say, wait, hold on. How long it takes for my money? What's the rate of return? 1. Say you're getting 1. I'm the bank. I'm giving you 1.
1%.
1%. Well, how many times can 1 go into 72?
72 times.
So it's going to take you 72 years for your money to double. Remember, you're 25.
Oh, shit. I'm making people shit double in a couple weeks.
So you say, hey, whoa, hold on. Man, I'm 25 and I've been working all my life and I'm putting my money into my savings account. But how do you feel when after 75 years your money double? You may not be able to see that. That's crazy. But our student loan debt average between 3.8% to 6.8% if you're on a federal. If you're on a private student loans, if it's variable, it could be more. Oh, you ain't got good credit? You want the latest, flashiest car? All right, 20% interest rate. Or better yet, student loans is 4%. Well, every 18 years, your money is double. So when you say, oh, yeah, but I got to pay off my student loans in 20 years, that means by the time you're done paying it, it's probably doubled. And you see how your debt can work against you? That credit card, anywhere from 14 up to 24%. It's poor money habits.
And you know what's crazy as hell? Because I used to study international trade, and I used to tell people like there's money in poverty. That's why there's so many people who are impoverished. That's why there's a 1% and there's a bottom 99%. Because there's so much money in poverty that to eliminate poverty is going to make people lose money. It's the same thing with like the pharmaceutical industry. There's so much money in people being sick, then why would I want to cure them?
The interest. It's the interest, man. That's it. That same thing that's there. The interest. What's the vested interest? And you say, hold on, who's making the money? Remember, you're putting your money in the bank. They're only giving you 1%, but then that same bank is going to lend it out to somebody else with, if you have good credit, they'll lend it to you. So Cletus, all right, you got 10 grand. Cletus, I'm the bank. I got Jackson National Bank right here. Cletus, you put $10,000 into Jackson National Bank. Awesome job. I'll keep your money here. Let's say, Cletus, I'll give you 1%, probably less, but I'll give you 1%. Esther, hi, how you doing? Esther, you have amazing credit. Oh, you want this brand new 2020 Nissan Maxima? Okay, you got good credit. So 4%. You're happy. You got a brand new car. It's 4%. That's not too bad. Remember, Cletus just gave me his $10,000, right? And I'm only giving him, let's say, less than 1%. I just loaned this out over here at 4%, so I'm getting the benefits.
You're getting 3% off the top of that.
Oh, look at that. Hey, I'm a good guy. But you trust me so much because I'm the bank. Again, capitalism.
Number one religion.
But, we have Mr. Unknown over here. I'm not sure. He just popped up out of nowhere. And he wants a car note as well, too. But he doesn't have a good credit or anything. So, you know what? We'll still give it to him. But we'll charge 18%. But he trusts me because I'm the bank. And he's also happy. Again, buy and sell.
So what happens if he doesn't pay back the 18%?
Oh, if he doesn't pay that back, now I'm repossessing the car. Now he's got horrible credit.
And you sell
worse.
it, and you can sell the debt.
And now I'm selling it out.
You can sell the debt to a company, and the company can now really
Collect the
chase
money.
and bother him and make his life hell.
Exactly. So now when he goes to probably get a mortgage, he's starting a family and he's trying to get a mortgage and everything, or they say, hey, what about this car that you just let go? Well, yeah. Or they say, oh, you got to file bankruptcy. Hold on, what? That stays on your report depending on what it is for 7 years? Come on. But you're limited in the mindset to say, oh, I'm going to file bankruptcy on $10,000 of debt, $15,000. Wait, what? Hold on, man. You can make that back depending on what it is. You can negotiate so many things, but again, it's the basics. So I'm on a campaign right now where I'm sharing with people the basics on insurance, debt management, and investments. Because there's 3 areas that people do put their money into, right? In the United States, if you study the statistics, it's the banks. Why we put our money in the banks? Because we trust the banks. Because if I'm walking down on Jersey Street or I'm in the Mariners Harbor and I got $500 or $1,000 in my pocket, if somebody run up on me and say, yo, run your pockets. It's in New York City. It's a common statement. Run your pockets. So now my money's not safe. So I put it in the bank. Or maybe I'm from the older generation who used to stick the money in the couch and the sofa, and the house go get burned down, and we lose the money. So we put our money in the banks for the safety of it, right? But however, we know the banks don't give us any growth. Why? Because that 10 G's you just lend me, I'm only giving you 1%. That's 72 years. So somebody else will say, hey, you know what? You should invest. That's why we should invest. Yes, we should invest. But just like any investments, there's a risk to it. You can gain, but you can also lose. Then there's another area, insurance. The first primary reason we have insurance, protection. We put insurance on our phones, insurance on our cars, and the last thing we think about is putting insurance on our lives. Why? Because this thought process or generational curse and trauma that if you get insurance on your life, that means you're planning for death or you're going to die. You're going to die one day. It's
Inevitable.
not today. It's not 5 hours from now. It may be. It may not be. It's inevitable. We can't avoid it. 2 things in life we can't avoid: death and taxes. It's plain and simple. 2 things we can't avoid.
Facts.
So why not be protected? Transferring those responsibilities I talked about earlier, a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
You transfer your responsibilities into protection. That's the main reason. Why? Because if you get that car, you have to, before you drive off the lot, what they say? Get that insurance on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's important. You want to protect it. You are your family's greatest asset. You want to protect that. So again, insurance provides the first thing that's there. It provides protection to you. It provides safety. It provides growth. And it's a tax advantage vehicle. I'm giving y'all gems right now. I'm going into details later on, but you get my phone number, 716-507-9486.
And you got a 716 number now? You really a Buffalonian.
Hey, listen, man. I'm planting the seeds, bro. I'm planting the seeds.
I'm into him.
So you get connected. You stay connected. You say, yo, I didn't catch his number. Reach out to Cletus. See what's happening. See the wealth wave that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because you say, hey, tax advantage. What's that? Final gem I'm going to share with y'all tonight. All right. So, tax now, tax later, and tax advantage. 3 areas. Remember I said you can't avoid taxes? Well, the game is basically 3 areas. You either get taxed right now, or you get taxed later, or you get tax advantage. So if your tax now vehicles are your checking account, your savings account, your certificate of deposit, your money market, your stocks and your bonds. Uncle Sam says if it goes up or down, I'm still going to tax you on it. Why? Because if your savings account goes up $10, right, you gain $10 on that, you get a 1099 DIV or 1099 RIT. You got to claim that, claim the gains. Okay? So your tax later, basically, well, you have your 401ks. Uncle Sam says, hey, I'm going to draw you a blank check. I'm not going to tax you on that right now. I'm going to let your seed grow, and then I'll tax you on your fruit. Now, if you're a farmer, do you want to be taxed on your fruit or the actual seed?
Seed.
Exactly. So, when you say, hey, you've got your 401k, your annuities, your pension, right? Your traditional IRAs, your individual retirement accounts, those are all tax later vehicles. That basically says you can put your money into it, it'll grow scot-free for you, and then once you retire, you get taxed. Or if you pull out your money from that vehicle, right, before you're 59 and a half, you get penalized 10%. And if you're a millennial or you're young, or you're in the, not saying millennial, you're in that 25% tax category. So 25% plus 10%, you're already taxed at 35 just because you pulled your money out there before. That's a problem. You've already lost. Or maybe you say, you know what, I'm not going to pull it out. I'm going to wait all the way up until I hit 70 or 70 and a half. If you wait until after that, well, you get taxed penalty again, almost up to 50%. So you're again in the lose. So now you have to do some mandatory required deductions, right? So you got to mandatory pull out some money just to keep yourself at the float so you don't get hit with them taxes. Finally, we have the taxed advantage vehicles that are out there. Some people say, oh, I got my Roth IRA. You know, I got my health savings account. That's the HSA, right? You got your long-term care and your life insurance. Oh, how about that, was it a 503 college savings account?
Mm-hmm.
But what if you get kids that don't want to go to school?
Yeah, they tax that shit OD.
But here's the thing. It ain't nothing to it. The knowledge is out there. But the wealth wave is about that. It's about sharing it, going out. And say there's a huge, almost 10,000 baby boomers are retiring at this point in time. They're all looking for it. People are walking around looking for financial service providers. And earlier when you say, hey, you know what? When you talk about that person that may be black and dealing with, they already have a person that's dealing with the community.
Mm-hmm.
But are they doing what they're actually supposed to do? Or are they just selling something or a product or something to someone just so they can go back home and feed their families on the table?
It's true. It's true.
So the wealth wave is about something that's completely different. It's about shaking it up and building a new industry. So you say, hey, how many of us, we got the millennials that are growing up that are starting to need financial planners to start to plan for retirement? Because if you don't plan, then procrastination is going to cause you to fail.
What is it? Someone said that procrastination is the separation between your destiny and where you are now, something like that.
Oh, what? That.
Yeah, something like that. That's just crazy. Or procrastination. Don't let procrastination cost you your destination.
Yeah, that is true, man. Because you think about it. You procrastinate. You ain't prepared to head out to your destination on time. Now you're in a rush because you're late. Or you get hit. You're in a rush, so you're speeding. Speed limit 65. You going 75. You get into an accident. Oh, hey, you didn't get into an accident, but whoop, whoop. Got the state troopers pulling you over.
And they about to tap your pockets, too.
Oh, yeah. Capital interest, man. It's in that. They don't care about you. They care about what's in your pockets. So are you protecting yourself? You catch me, I'll be in the middle lane sometimes. I'm cruising, man. Or the right side. I'm just cruising. Why? Because I ain't gonna about to drop no $275 for a speeding ticket. What? $275 is? That's almost $10 a day. So many of us go through situations where we're spending $10 a day. Why? Because we wake up in the morning, we go buy our scratch offs, or we may buy our coffee and our bagel. So it's like $3. By lunchtime comes, we're spending $5 on lunch, and ain't finished work yet or midday, so I'm spending another $2 or $3, and you're already over. You're $10 a day. It's $300 a month. It's $3,600 a year. Now remember that rule of 72? What if you were saving that? What if you're getting up to 8% or more growth on your money? You know, saving now can really make that difference for you versus waiting later to save. X curve, once again. But yeah, that's it, man. I gave y'all some gems tonight, and I appreciate you sitting down with me, bro. That was cool.
That's how you sign out?
That's how I sign off, because I got another appointment I got to follow up to.
At 4:30,
At
right?
that point, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Queen, do you have anything that you'd like to add? You've been relatively quiet today.
I'm always quiet. I'm a woman of few words.
Woman of few words.
A woman of few words, indeed. I definitely agree with a lot of what was shared today. What I would say is definitely reach out to Andre. Get some information about building your wealth and understanding the basic financial concepts to help you understand how to manage your money, how to understand how to break those generational curses, especially relating to wealth. So that's all I have to say. It was a really nice talk we had. Definitely.
Thank you. Okay, all right. So, like I said, Andre, one more time for the folk that kind of slow, man. If they, niggas be high, tired, sleep, work overnights, probably working on their own project, working each job, whatever they doing, you know what I mean? If you want to stay in tune with you, tap in with you, get more knowledge and all that stuff, how can they go about it? Where can they go?
Where can you go? Simple. HowMoneyWorks.com/Andre Jackson. You can message me 716-507-9486. Don't be calling me at 2, 3 a.m. Matter of fact, I'm open 24 hours. I am a business man. 24 hours. So if you gotta call me at 4 a.m., pick up the phone. I'm that type of person. All right. If I don't pick up, I'm gonna still get back to you.
Right,
follow up is key and important, because if you have a book in the Bible, or we go to church or anything like that, you're spiritual, and you say, yo, I need to reach out to God or connect to some, God answers every single time. Right? I'm not saying that I am God, but I'm saying WFG is working for God. It's World Financial Group. Why? Because if your spiritual man ain't on point, your financial man ain't on point. And by man, I don't just mean by the gender man.
Like your spirit, who you are internally,
Exactly.
Who speaks. What's that noise inside your head when you talk to yourself? I always wonder, does that, like, for you, like, y'all can answer, because I don't know what your voice sound like inside your head. What does it sound like? Does it sound just like you, or is it like somebody else that's like?
Oh, I got it. I'm gonna answer it, and then I'm gonna let the lady. Matter of fact, let the lady answer first. All right, go ahead.
Because that's one thing I always wonder about. Because, like, I talk to myself like, damn, bro, like it's, like, you could talk and be like, bro, it's not even you talking. Somebody else is saying something. It's like there's someone that you talk to internally. Does it sound like you? Does it sound like a different person? Is it a different accent?
In my case, it sounds like me. But when I hear myself speak, like when I hear recordings of myself, it sounds different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when I'm talking or when I hear my voice inside of my head, it sounds like my voice right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you do occasionally have those moments if you're spiritual, where you might have, like, God talking to you, and that might sound a little bit different than what your voice is.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So we really are gods, if you want to be technical. Like, Because if you're saying like the thing that directs you is that inner voice, right? The only inner voice I really heard was the nigga that I talk to every day. Just trying to stay in tune with myself, telling me, yo, bro, this ain't the best thing to do.
See, I would go even a little further deep into that rather than say we are just gods, you know. What is the 17th chapter that says the kingdom of God is within man?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we are just that, is human, then kingdom of God is within us.
Mm-hmm.
So you say, hey, you know what? Is it God that's speaking to you? Yes, God is speaking to you when you're talking to yourself in that standpoint. Why? Because the future you is speaking to you right now.
Just to add on to that, I would say the future is already within you. You know, like what you are tomorrow is what you determine today.
Mm-hmm.
So the future is already within you. It's not far from you. It's not out of reach. It's already in you. And we all individually were, if you believe this, or this is what I believe, that we're all individually brought to this earth with a purpose, and success is fulfilling that purpose. And it's not necessarily competing like we were talking about earlier. In Nigerian households where, you know, parents are making you look at other people's success. But success is already within you, and it's finding what that purpose is.
Absolute truth. And dialing it back for those of them, you know, who just dialing in and they're getting tired again. Yo, listen to me. I'm throw it out there so you know. If you know where the water well is, you're going to go drink because you're thirsty, right? If you're walking in a desert, then you know the exact location of where the water well is. You're going to go. So I'm going to give you the exact location. 327 Niagara Street, Buffalo, New York, 14201, suite number 7. Like I said, you can reach out to me, 716-507-9486. Hey, if you're in the New York City area, still reach out to me. I am building a financial center in Staten Island. Matter of fact, even if you're in the Bronx or anything, still connect and reach out to me. There is a financial center in the Bronx.
You gonna build one? I'm down with it. Purposeful. Let's make it happen.
Man, that's work.
G shit. You know, bro.
Let's
You
go to
know
work,
me, man. I'm a silent killer, man. I say a lot without saying nothing at all. So, you know, I'm always been for. Like I said, this is just another seed that's been planted like since like 2014. So, this is God for, because I really believe God is knowledge. Like when you say God is within us, I honestly believe it's kind of like that the voice that was within us is a voice of knowledge and clarity, right? So it's kind of like, yo, like you should be, you know better, you know this, you know that. So I always look at God as knowledge. How much do you know? How much information do you know? Knowledge of self, knowledge of family, knowledge of situation, knowledge of finances, knowledge of the things that really matter to you that can help you become who you need to become. I think that's really what God is. But that's a different conversation for a different day, man. Thank you so much, Andre and Esther, for stopping by. Wealth Wave, howtomakemoney.com, right?
Howmoneyworks.com.
Howmoneyworks.com.
Because we know how to work for money. It's an easy given. We all know how to work for money, man. You either go to school or you go flip a brick. You go do whatever it is. You gotta make a couple of tuna sandwiches, and that's a family recipe. You out there selling. Yo, you know how to work for money. But how money works. Let your money work for you. Learn the simple basics that are out there. Why? Because the lack of financial literacy is killing our community. Killing, man. So let's talk about the living. Let's talk about the learning and the growing and the building.
That's real.
Let's make moves. Put out a plan of action. Say, hey, pick up the phone. Dial. Send a text message. Reach out. Because we're reaching out. This is an awesome platform you have right here. This podcast, you got a great connection, great voice, and you're reaching out.
Thank you, bro. Hopefully the people appreciate this shit too, man. Shit, if they don't, I know my kids and my kids hopefully will. That's why we doing it for, man. Shout out to my friends, man. I know a lot of people I've noticed they writing their books. Like I said, if y'all haven't, go support Schwartzen's book. Be Your Own Hero, Ghost Report, Caleb. He got 3 of them things. He got the Quarter Life Conversation. He has the Unicorn book that's coming out soon. He had the other one, Something for Yourself. I forgot. He got 3 of them things. And he's 27. And then Linda, she has 2 books. I think 3 books. I think it's called Smoke Free, and the other one is damn, Linda, you got so much shit going on. I can't remember. But Linda got books. Linda got Coquito. Linda got the Airbnb. Everything Ibar. Like, she's dope as hell. Like I said, and then Ronzi, he got his book. He's the brother that's over the Carter Center in Stapleton. You definitely got to get in tune with him. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, man, write your own story, man. Leave your own legacy, man. Because the problem with us is that all of our indoctrinated books have been destroyed. Within, like, history and war and conquest, all the history of what it means to be a black man in America, for the most part, people don't read about or aren't taught to understand and learn. So if you have the opportunity to learn your history or be able to contribute to history, your perspective is important and it's necessary. Your voice has power, and people love and appreciate your perspective because everyone doesn't have that opportunity to get that. So without further say, man, y'all know the face, y'all know the name. Shout out to Andre Esther one more time, man. Tune in to them, tap in with them, support them. And like I said, y'all tuned in to Talk Ain't Cheap, and it's usually not that deep. It's just a vibe.